intelligence. In a corner of Britain where land meets sea, where hills, woodlands, and wetlands weave a patchwork of life.
For over 30 years, Bill and Cath Grayson have proven something remarkable, that farming and nature
status. When much of the land was abandoned and ecosystems were failing, they asked a bold question: could grazing animals?
This is the story of a farm that doesn't just produce food, but it nurtures life.
Free. Where land meets sea, where limestone rises from ancient earth, and where... This is a place shaped by time, carved by glaciers, nurtured by tides.
But landscapes like this do not protect themselves. They require care. They require understanding.
For more than 30 years, Bill and Cath Grayson have walked these fields with a radical belief that
at a time when modern agriculture often pushed nature aside, they chose a different path, blending ecologists.
What began as an idea became a movement today. 600 hectares managed not for profit.
This is the Morecambe Bay Conservation Grazing Company, a farming enterprise built with one purpose.
In a world where farming is often blamed for environmental decline, could this small corner of Britain hold the blueprint for the future?
Bill and Cath were not traditional farmers. They were ecologists, trained to read landscape.
For a decade, they farmed as tenants for the National Trust, managing land while studying its fragile balance.
But across Britain, intensive farming was changing the countryside. Hedgerows disappeared.
By the late 1980s, many areas around Morecambe Bay had been abandoned. The land was
Without grazing animals, biodiversity declined. Rare wildflowers were smothered.
The land needed livestock again. Not for production, not for profit,
but for restoration. Carefully managed grazing could recreate the ancient relationship between animals and landscape, controlling.
What others saw as farmland, they saw as a living ecosystem. And from that realization...
Today, Bill and Cath manage grazing across 40 sites, from the tiniest plots to vast expanses of untamed land.
Each site is unique. Marshes, woodlands, limestone pastures, every landscape needing its own careful approach.
Many of these lands are owned or managed by conservation organizations, each sharing the same goal.
This is no ordinary livestock management. Conservation grazing demands patience, knowledge, and understanding that nature cannot be rushed. From harsh winters to blazing summers, the animals must graze year-round. Guidance.
Unlike conventional farming, conservation grazing prioritizes habitat restoration over production. Livestock are key.
Across these 40 sites, an intricate web of life is returning. Birds, insects, and plants. Through careful grazing, Bill and Cath show that farming can heal, not harm, and that biodiversity can...
Bill carefully matches livestock numbers to each site's ecological needs. Every animal has a purpose, and every hectare its limit.
Stocking densities are kept extremely low, just 0.1 to 0.5 livestock units per hectare.
Salt marshes remain safe breeding grounds for wading birds, carefully grazed without disruption.
Limestone grasslands flourish with native plants, nurtured by the precise movements of grazing livestock. Traditional hay meadows bloom again, alive with butterflies and wildflowers, thanks to carefully timed grazing.
On larger sites, cattle roam freely. On smaller sites, grazing happens in short bursts, always followed by recovery periods.
Every year, conservation goals come first. Production targets are secondary. Here, the land's needs guide every decision.
Through precision grazing, Bill and Cath show that when humans work with nature, play, not against it may.
At the heart of the Conservation Grazing Company are red poll cattle, a hardy, traditional breed perfectly suited to low-input systems. These cattle thrive on semi-natural vegetation, helping to maintain open habitats without chemical inputs or intensive feeding. They provide both meat and milk, but their value here goes beyond production to fur. They are caretakers of the land.
Red poles are tough. They adapt to harsh conditions where modern breeds might struggle, making them perfect for conservation grazing.
On smaller sites, a small flock of sheep carefully grazes, complementing the cattle.
Sometimes grazing is delayed until autumn to protect flowers and pollinators, ensuring the land and wildlife thrive together.
When forage quality drops, Bill uses older animals with lower nutritional needs, balancing the needs of wildlife with the welfare of the livestock.
Through careful selection and management, red pole cattle and sheep work hand in hand with nature, proving that most cattle remain outdoors throughout winter, finding shelter among the trees and woodland edges. Their winter diet is diverse as to ivy, bramble, twigs, and shoots. Even small amounts. While yew can be toxic, Bill has never faced issues. Native breeds instinctively regulate what they can.
The herd moves with the seasons. Wetlands and salt marshes in summer, higher limestone ground in winter.
Bill believes this mirrors how wild herbivores roamed these lands thousands of years ago, shaping ecosystems as they moved. Through their seasonal movements, the cattle become active participants in the restoration of natural habitats.
Woodland areas provide refuge during harsh months, showing the harmony between livestock and landscape.
Through careful management and respect for natural behaviors, Bill's herd embodies resilience.
The company is certified by Pasture for Life and has been organic from the very beginning, embracing naturals.
Animals receive medical treatment only when necessary. Liver fluke remains the main concern, but careful.
Yes, cattle grow more slowly. Yes, finishing takes longer. But this slower pace supports health.
The key: low input costs, no heavy fertilizer bills, minimal feed purchases. Nature does much of the work.
Income from agri-environment schemes supports the farm, allowing conservation and production to coexist sustainably.
In a time when farmers struggle with rising costs, this low-input, nature-led model offers resilience, a blueprint.
By putting nature first, every decision, from grazing to pasture management, reflects the commitment.
Organic, low input, on-site input, and financially simplifying.
Marketing older cattle can be challenging, so Bill and Cath sell directly to local customers and
their land includes large areas of wood pasture, benefiting wildlife while providing their own firewood for the farm.
Most importantly, they engage with the public every day. Visitors, dog walkers, and families frequently.
When they started, few believed this model could work. The idea of combining livestock farming with conservation seemed impossible to many.
Today, conservation grazing is gaining respect. Across the country, people are beginning to see its values. Through education and example, Bill and Cath inspire others to think differently, showing that farming.
And though he may never say it himself, Bill Grayson has helped change how farmers think about working with nature, not against it.
From abandoned fields to thriving habitats, from skepticism to respect, this is a story of farming in